What's up, everybody? Let's see, and this is going to be on Twitter. This just came out 4 minutes ago. On Twitter, limited number of characters spreading fake info. This is the first time I'm reading it as well. Washington AP. A tiny fraction of Twitter users spread the vast majority of fake news in 2016, with conservatives and older people sharing misinformation more. A new study finds scientists examined more than 16,000 U.S. Twitter accounts and found that 16 of them, oh my god, just 16? That's what we're talking about right now? Man, scientists don't have to go do this. A guy with a cell phone can go do this. An intern. It doesn't have to be a freaking scientist. Less than 0.1% tweeted out nearly 80% of misinformation masquerading as news. According to a study Thursday in the journal Science, about 99% of the Twitter users spread virtually no fake information in the most heated part of the election year, said study co-author David Lazar. I always say that wrong. A northeastern western, sounds like a college my friend went to. University political and computer science professor. Spreading fake information is taking place in a very seamy but small corner of Twitter. The David Laser or whatever. The funny thing is, because I just watched the Lazar thing. So every time I see that now, I'm going to try and say Lazar. Try not to. Let's see. Said misinformation super shares flood Twitter an average of 308 pieces of fakery each between August 1st and December 6th in 2016. And it's not just few people spreading it, but few people reading it. The vast majority of people are exposed to very little fake news, despite the fact that there's a concentrated effort to push it into the system. The researchers found the 16,442 accounts that they analyzed by starting with a random pool of voter records, matching names to Twitter users, and then screening out accounts that appeared to not be controlled by real people. Their conclusions are similarly, I can't say it right now, to a study earlier this month that looked at the spread of false information on Facebook. It also found that few people shared fakery, but those who did were more likely to be over 65 and conservative. That makes this study more believable because two groups of researchers use stupid phone. Where did I see that? Using different social media platforms, measuring political affiliations differently, and with a different panel of users came to the same conclusion. Co-director of Harvard Law School Center on the Internet and Society. He wasn't part of the entire study, but praised them. Oh, he wasn't part of either study, but praised them, saying they should reduce misguided post-electional panels and how out of control technology processes I'm reading this so wrong, had rendered us as a society incapable of telling truth from fiction. Yeah. There's a lot of fiction out there. Everybody says, what is it? Truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes it is. But a lot of these people are making up crazy stories and push them as truth, but everybody pushes everything as truth. It's only it takes a couple days, or sometimes it takes a couple minutes to show people that it's fake. Just depends who all gets a hold of it before then. Experts say a recent shutdown between Kentucky Catholic school students and Native... Oh, gosh. I'm not going over that crap again. Unlike the earlier... Let's see. What's it say after that? Seemed to be stoked by a single now shut down Twitter account. Said the account fit some characteristics of super shares from his study, but it was more left-leaning, which didn't match the study. Unlike the earlier Facebook study, it didn't interview the people, but ranks people's political base on what they read and shared on Twitter. The researchers used several different source of domains for false information masquerading as news, not individual stories, but overall sites, from lists compiled by other academics and Buzzfeed. While 5 outside experts praised the study, Kathleen Hall, head of the Public Policy Center at the University of Pennsylvania, found several problems, especially with how they determined fake information sites. The team found that among people that they basically left-leaning and centrist, fewer than 5% shared any fake information. Among those they determined were right-leaning, 11% of the accounts shared misinformation masquerading as news. For those on the extreme right, it was 21%. This study shows most of us aren't too bad at circulating information, but some of us are determined propagandists who are trying to manipulate the public sphere, said Texas A&M Jennifer it looks like America, a historical political rhetoric who wasn't part of the study. But that's weird. What on Twitter, limited number of characters spreading fake information. See how I thought what they were trying to say is that that's what's going to be happening to people that have been known to spread fake news in the past. They're going to limit their characters. I thought that's what they were trying to say. But no. What one Twitter and Facebook have in common, vision of bringing its unreliable news radar to every screen after Microsoft makes it an integral part of its Edge mobile browser. Rather than having to download an app, as before, Edge users on Android and Apple devices can now just click one button to enable its green-red rating signal if a website is trying to get it right or instead has a hidden agenda or knowingly publishes falsehood or propaganda. Wonder what CNN's going to get. Among the there it is already. Among the green-rated websites, Voice of America, CNN, Buzzfeed, The Guardian, New York Times, The Washington Post, as well as left-leaning upstarts such as Vice News, which is owned by, isn't it owned by Viacom or Disney? Ones that are given the red warning label of failing to maintain basic standards of accuracy and accountability, RT, Sputnik, obviously enough, and the right-wing Daily Mail, Breitbart, and the Drudge Report, in addition to hundreds of other non-mainstream news websites such as WikiLeaks. Whoa. NewsGuard used trained journalists and editors to assess news websites or on journalistic standards of credibility and transparency. NewsGuard has evaluated news websites that account for 96% of online media engagement in the United States and will expand to additional countries soon. Not only does the integration ensure that NewsGuard is present on every browser and it's easier to use than to ignore, but by making it fundamental Microsoft provided feature, the company gives its inherent level of trustworthiness, something akin to bundled antivirus feature, only this time the virus targets your brain, not your phone or iPad. Total transparency. None of this is the slightest bit alarming if you believe that NewsGuard is an absolutely fair on what constitutes real news or propaganda. Its pride of place is its nutrition labels, which ape the precision of the list of calories, carbs, saturated fats to give a supposedly scientific assessment of media reliability on 9 different criteria. Among them, doesn't repeatedly publish false content, avoids deceptive headlines, clickbait. CNN's already screwed if it was real. Gathers and presents information responsibly, handles the difference between news and opinion responsibly. The website of leading Russian government propaganda effort, which focuses on social media in addition to broadcasting channels. RT was previously known as Russian Today. And it goes over it. This website generally fails to maintain basic standards of accuracy and accountability, doesn't repeatedly publish false content, X, gathered and presented information responsibly, X. Whoa, it does say regularly corrects and clarifies errors. That's nuts. The green light. These kids. Oh yeah, y'all remember this? Yeah, it's a laughably small amount of people that actually use Edge, and I never would. They changed it to Edge because Internet Explorer got hacked, and and all your information was that you ever had on Internet Explorer was accessible. Perfect accuracy. WikiLeaks hits back at neocon app NewsGuard, which labeled it as untrustworthy. Does not repeatedly publish. That's a green? That's a little weird. This would be that if not for NewsGuard's can't say it, to expand to serve the billions of people globally who get news online. This is just a beginning. There is an overarching plan where all public computers from the school to the universities to the libraries are automatically equipped with the same safe browser system. And rather than as an individual warning, NewsGuard plans to make its design designation work as effective financial tool. The company, which has received $6 million in backing, also plans to soon work with advertisers keeping ads off unreliable news websites to ensure brand safety. So they're going to screw anybody that has advertisement. That's going to kill a lot of places. Fall foul of green ticks. No money for you. Advertising managers are already demonetizing programs with alternative or controversial viewpoints elsewhere. And soon the process can be automatic. And Brill is boasting that he is happy to be blamed, doing the dirty work for the platform. No wonder alternative outlets in the US are openly opposed. Just like the use of NewsGuard in all public libraries in faraway state of Hawaii, no money charge, it is best to look at the edge integration as more of a test, a pilot project, a dry run, latching NewsGuard onto a popular browser like Chrome or a social network like Facebook would stir tremors of public debate as it refuted by Robert Mueller. Its founder created a fake website and emailing address in the name of famous gun rights advocates John Law in order to justify the spreading of fake news. ZeroHedge.com reports. Then director at the Brooklyn-based technology nonprofit iBeam used Lott's name in 2003 to trick people into thinking that Lott had changed his mind on a key piece of gun right legislation that protected gun makers from abusive lawsuits designed to put them out of business. I was already relatively well known in 2003 to those who care about gun control debates because of my book, More Guns, Less Crime. The CEO of Buzzfeed sent emails under my name to convince people that I had changed my mind and came out against the act. The emails then urged people to ask their congressmen and senators to oppose the bill. Lott explains the Buzzfeed CEO deception in a Monday op-ed, which you can read below. Buzzfeed, a popular news website, has once again been shamed for publishing fake allegations against Donald Trump. Buzzfeed's anonymously sourced report claimed that the president ordered his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to lie to Congress about a proposed business deal in Moscow. Supposedly, two unnamed federal law enforcement officials claimed that the special counsel Robert Mueller's office had the goods. They were purported to have collected email, text, and testimonial providing the explosive claim. The story dominated the news on Friday, with the Democrats calling for Trump to be impeached. MSNBC Morning Joe opened with the announcement that this revelation was a big one. CNN New Day host John Berman claimed that the disclosure was so dramatic he almost spilled his coffee. But by late Friday, Special Counsel Robert Mueller office issued a very rare rebut, saying that the BuzzFeed account was not accurate. This was hardly BuzzFeed's first embarrassment, as Trump reminded people it was BuzzFeed that released the totally discredited dossier, whatever, paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. BuzzFeed culture of fake news started at the top with founder and CEO, who has a history of knowingly spreading false information. He has used fraudulent websites and email accounts to pose as people he wished to defame. I was one of his victims. CEO of BuzzFeed, first victim was an MBA student Jeff Goldblatt, who had set up a dating service called the Rejection Hotline. This was, I don't know what this is, in competition with him. Newly created rejectiononline.com. His sister and co-founder Chelsea contacted Goldblatt to gain information on his business. She interviewed him under the false identity of New York-based reporter Vanessa Holmes. Then the Buzzfeed CEO set up the website Jeff Goldblatt under the pretense that it was Goldblatt's personal website. He sent out emails for me at jeffgoldblatt.com. According to Jeff Goldblatt, contained multiple lies about me and portrayed me as an arrogant jerk who was bragging about how I stole the idea of the New York City rejection line. Goldblatt contacted me after he did the same thing to me in 2003. In my case, he set up askjefflot.org and he used the email john@askjohnlot.org. That is crazy that he got away with this, and now he's like a huge deal for like trending. BuzzFeed's always trending on YouTube, and they don't have to have anything watched. I was watching something the other day, and it was like real Marine plays Call of Duty. That's the kind of stuff that they're doing. Like, there's a whole line of them. It's like real NBA player plays the NBA game, and it's like a 15 to 20 minute video. Real pilot flies the simulation. I first learned about the website from James K. Glassman, a former Washington Post columnist who later served as U.S. Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy. He shared the email exchange with me that he had with the fake John Lott. Also used my name and picture to advise people on how to violate gun control laws. Soon I received hundreds of angry phone calls from people who were upset that I was supposedly advising them to break the law. My email to john@askjohnlott.org asking who was behind the effort were ignored. The website registration didn't help, as it was supposedly registered to me. I spent money to find out who was behind these efforts. When I contacted him, he denied any involvement. After I hired lawyers, he finally included a disclaimer on the website stating that he intended to parody me, but he still refused to take down the website down, or stop sending emails. Goldblatt didn't have the money for a legal battle, so I included him in my case. After a year and a half, we finally reached a legal settlement. Who worked for a company called iBeam publicly acknowledged the AskJohnLott.org site was created by iBeam Inc. This site was never associated, endorsed, or otherwise affiliated with John Lott. Email sent from AskJohnLott.org domain that was identified as coming from John Lott was also never associated, endorsed, or otherwise affiliated with John Lott. iBeam deeply regrets any confusion and offers a formal apology to John Lott. The terms of the settlement are confidential. He also apologized to Goldblatt and took down jeffgoldblatt.com. I received an undisclosed monetary settlement. People are again asking how BuzzFeed could possibly publish such fake news against Trump. They need look no further than BuzzFeed CEO and founder. He is a columnist for FoxNews.com. He is an economist and was formerly chief economist at the United States Sentencing Commission. Lott is also a leading expert on gun, and op-ed on the issue are done in conjunction with the Crime Prevention Research Center. He is the author of 9 books, including More Guns, Less Crime. His latest book is The War on Guns, Arming Yourself Against Gun Control Lies. Follow him on Twitter. We just went down the fake news rabbit hole. Yeah.